Hey Lexi, you want to finally review a movie when it's first released again?
Yeah.
Well, thanks to Disney Plus, we're going to be able to do that. So let's get the conversation started. Hello and welcome to LexiCon. It is Maddie.
Lexi.
Dylan.
And I didn't mean to make it sound like Disney Plus was sponsoring us. they just finally released a movie on Disney Plus again instead of only in theaters. Thought we were going to get to review Lightyear, but apparently that's coming only to theaters now, so...
Damn.
Pixar can go fuck themselves too. And we've been over this ad nauseum how, we get economics of it, but we still think there's a viable means to release it on streaming as well. They just choose not to. And one act like the pandemic's over and that people aren't still concerned about going out around large crowds, especially if they're immunocompromised. But I digress. None of that matters right now because Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers released exclusively on Disney Plus on Friday, May the something.
Yep.
I can't remember what the date was.
Well, if it was yesterday, it was the 20th.
There you go, Friday, May 20th. And we watched it, and we're going to give our take on it. Because, sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks.
Sometimes.
But those two gumshoes, they're picking up the slack. Alright, I'm sure anybody listening to this has probably seen the trailer for Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Ranger. They haven't actually seen the film. If you haven't seen either, or if you haven't at least seen the film and you don't want to spoil it for you, here's your only warning. This is a spoiler-filled episode.
Very much.
So,
Yes.
you can just check out now, go check out something in the archives, and come back next week.
Spoiler.
When we spoil Star Wars for everybody.
Yeah.
and,
You haven't seen Star Wars by now.
No, we're just going to ruin it. It has nothing to do with spoiling. Anyway, that's another topic. Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers. Again, I'm sure most of you have seen the trailer for it, know what this is about. It's not really an True Hollywood story kind of deal, but it's a modern take and after the glory and they come back together. I don't want to go through it. I don't want to go through it chronologically. Like we've done. I know half the time I say I don't want to go through it chronologically.
And then we do. And we probably
to break down the entire plot of the film, but I enjoyed it. Did you guys enjoy it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess we'll save our proper ratings for the end, but definitely a thumbs up. Pretty much what you expect to get from the trailer, you're going to get.
Yeah. Kind of.
Which is not to say there aren't any surprises.
There were a few moments that I got things that I did not expect.
No, but it's exactly what you thought it was going to be, tone-wise and presentation-wise, and with the multiple cameos and different IPs being represented. And too much Seth Rogen.
Who plays Donkey Kong?
Does he? Or will he? Will.
He will.
I'm betting he and I don't do Donkey Kong's voice the same.
Which is just funny to me. I mean, Seth Rogen's voice and Donkey Kong.
Hey Mario.
God.
I'm not a Seth Rogen fan.
Nice to know.
He seems like a cool enough dude in real life. I'm just not a big fan of his.
But you're not a Seth Rogen hater.
No, but
Not a fan,
I think
but not a
I think
hater.
he's overrated. I think too many people give him too much credit, and that bugs me. It's sort of like Led Zeppelin. Like I acknowledge they're a great band, but I don't think they're that great.
Nice to know.
So yeah, and it's like I don't know. People are like, oh, he's the best thing in the 40-year-old version. To me, he's like the worst thing in the 40-year-old
I
version.
don't remember that movie well enough
Honestly,
to
I don't
comment.
remember his in the 40-year-old version until just the other
I mean,
one.
honestly, my favorite Seth
He's in on a
Rogen
lot of
property is
things.
Zack and Miri Make a Porno, and that's a Kevin Smith film, and I probably like it as much due to Kevin's writing as I do. And I know Kevin said Seth would ad-lib on set and whatnot, but it's still a Kevin Smith film. It's not a Seth
What
Rogen
about
film.
a podcast about Seth Rogen?
Although I will say, The End, the movie about the apocalypse with Seth Rogen and his buddies, that was really good.
He played how many characters in this movie?
So basically, I like to see a movie where Seth Rogen is facing the apocalypse and dies in the end.
Oh,
Spoilers for the end.
Like
He
3 or
played,
4?
like 5 characters.
5?
No, he played one character, and then he had then there was this self-referential scene where like some of his other voice acting roles were like, "Hey, dude," and it's like, no, thank you, please get that off my screen. He plays, of course, the CGI Viking, not CGI, but the computer animated,
The uncanny Viking.
Well, not Viking, a dwarf maybe.
Whatever.
Almost more
Uncanny dwarf.
like Gimli-ish, yeah.
Okay.
When they visit the Uncanny Valley, again, that's in the trailer.
Yeah.
We really didn't get any more out of that than we did from the trailer, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And the fact that freaking Peter Pan is the villain of the movie.
Yeah, when they said it was going to be Sweet Pete, I honestly thought it was going to be Pete the dog at first. And it's kind of clever.
Dog?
Yeah, Pete's a dog.
Is he a dog?
The hell
I don't know.
is it
I was
gonna
just
be?
thinking of Pete, but I don't know.
By the way, apologies if
Which
you hear any noise. We're recording this in the middle of a thunderstorm, but this is when we had time to do it, so...
Which Pete are you referring to?
The Mickey villain, Pete.
Yeah.
Ah, that Pete.
He's a
I didn't
dog.
really see his dog.
Yeah, isn't he like a bulldog or something?
I don't know.
I don't know what breed he is, but I know he's a dog.
Okay. Yeah, I was expecting him too, though.
But I kind of had a feeling it was going to be him, and then it was a nice swerve that it wasn't him, and it was also a nice little reference when he did show up later on.
Yeah.
Just the moment.
He's like the only kind of Mickey Mouse character to show up.
Well, I mean, in my mind, Chip and Dale are Mickey Mouse characters.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
other than Chip and Dale.
Let me get this out of the way too.
They're in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
They set up a fictional. It's all fictional. They set up a new backstory for Chip and Dale, where like they met in school in the 80s or whatever, and in this world where cartoons and humans and Muppets and everybody interacted as one. I love the
Hold up, I looked up Pete.
And stop motion.
This says he was originally an anthropomorphic bear, but with the advent of Mickey Mouse in 1928, he was defined as a cat.
So he's a cat?
I was kind of thinking he was a cat, but then I was like, wait a second.
Pete's a freaking cat?
According to that, originally a bear.
Well, originally doesn't matter because we've grown up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
I grew up knowing him as a dog, and now I find out he's a cat. So
there's a lot of cats in this movie.
Maybe Seth Rogen isn't so bad.
That some people think Goofy is a cow. So
yeah.
Doesn't he date a cow?
Clarabelle.
Yes, he is very much not a cow.
I think that's sort of where the Goofy is a cow comes from.
Yeah, it is partially.
And the confusion because, of course, Pluto was a dog, but he's just a regular dog, and Goofy is anthropomorphic and walks and
There's
talks.
different types of dogs.
Yeah, the one is evolved.
I was gonna say, like, we're related to things that aren't humans, so...
It's like a human owning
It's
a
called
like Trump
a
gorilla or
supporters.
something. It's like a human owning a pet gorilla or something.
Is there any place you can own a pet gorilla?
I don't know, but I would say a pet monkey, but monkeys... Which is closer to that? Monkeys or gorillas?
I guess gorillas, but they're all apes. Well, I mean, they're all
Monkeys
great.
monkey.
I mean, they're apes as much as we're apes. We're all part of we all connect someplace.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as that goes.
Y'all!
Go ahead.
Apparently, on a technicality,
This is
scientifically,
completely
birds
different
are reptiles. They're not their own thing, they are freaking reptiles.
Well, we know dinosaurs are,
Exactly. And that's how they're freaking
antecedents of
reptiles.
It's funny that dinosaurs are closer to birds and not pterosaurs. I mean,
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was going to say we evolved from a type of reptile as well.
Because pterosaurs-
Yeah, technically mammals could, in certain contexts, be considered reptiles as well.
Yeah, reptiles were some of the first land animals.
You see, the pterosaurs are like the pterodactyl and stuff. A pterodactyl's
Yep,
not a
he's a
dinosaur, it's a
freaking cat.
pterosaur.
I didn't even think, is there actually even a dinosaur called a pterodactyl? I thought that was not even a proper dinosaur name. Or pterosaur, you know what I'm saying. Any
not sure
creature,
about
I
that.
didn't know if it was an actual name for any
But
creature.
pretty much like
in
the
history.
flying ones are pterosaurs.
Yeah.
There's also one that supposedly
And
maybe
T-Rex are just
flew.
big chickens.
There's also a pterosaur that supposedly maybe flew, maybe not, who knows.
So come for Chip and Dale, stay for the
Dinosaurs.
anthropology lesson. Anyway, I was starting to say they have a backstory for Chip and Dale where like they met in school and they formed like a comedy writing duo together and did some commercials. Had a bit part on Full House and eventually booked Rescue Rangers and it's cute and it's fine. I mean, it bugs me that they put him in Full House because I've seen that scene in Full House enough to know there's no animated chipmunks in it.
Are you sure? Have you seen it?
I could do without that bit of retconning, but no.
Have you seen it again?
Seriously, speaking of retcon, what I don't like is it sort of ignores the rest of their history because, I mean, Chip and Dale didn't just come into being with Rescue Rangers. They were in the classic Disney shorts with Donald Duck fighting over the tree and whatnot.
That was just some of the small stuff they did beforehand.
Timeline-wise, it doesn't fit because that probably goes back to the 40s, 50s, 60s.
True.
But also, I mean, maybe there was another duo called Chip and Dale, and maybe they were named after them. I don't know, but they didn't play into it at all. They didn't mention it at all. It's like they were struggling artists, and they got the part on Rescue Rangers and Chip and Dale. And look, I'm not upset about it at all. Don't construe this as like Maddie's pissed off about the fictional backstory of fictional characters.
And it's also kind of weird to jump from them to like
every fictional
commercials
backstory
and cameos in Full House too. You get your own show now.
Meh.
What do you mean? Why is that weird?
It's a weird from a cameo in Full House to them getting their own.
That's like how it works, bro.
It's
People get like small parts and other stuff, and then they get their own
And
vehicle.
the next thing you know,
that's
big thing.
It's like a show all about that. You think they'd look through it out a bit more?
No, that's pretty much how it. I mean, it's not the same path for everybody, but that's pretty much how it happens. I mean,
It's a realistic path.
yeah. That's not the part I had the problem with. That was the realistic part. The part I had was what ignored their actual history because, I remember them in the cartoons with Mickey and Donald and Goofy and...
I do not. The only thing I remember them from is Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
I feel like you've been deprived.
Then Kingdom Hearts.
You guys didn't watch a lot of the Looney Tunes or the Disney shorts, though.
I remember
Kingdom Hearts came after.
Yeah.
I also always
Rescue
couldn't remember who
Rangers.
was who, but then I finally remembered by remembering Chip is the one that has a brown nose like a chocolate chip.
Actually, that does sort of mess things up, though, because how were they in Kingdom Hearts if they hadn't talked to each other for 20 years?
I don't know, but we do know Kingdom Hearts exists because we see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it seems like, video games exist in this real world as well. Just like cartoons and sock puppets and Muppets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And claymation figures.
Yeah. And so maybe they, were on it but didn't necessarily work together, Like, I know they appear
They're
together
literally
in the
interacting
game.
together and
These are
talking to
CGI
each other.
Exactly.
Well, I guess that would have meant that Chip had the CGI surgery too, though, for him to appear that way in the game.
Maybe these are got people who really look like Chip and Dale to play Chip and Dale.
They got Dale and then had to find a look
they
like
got Alvin and
Chip.
Theodore.
Oh God.
When the chipmunks showed up halfway through, they're not even characters in the movie, but they're on a TV screen or something.
Yeah.
And I was almost like, that's right, there are other cartoon chipmunks. For a minute, I was sitting when they were doing the backstory of Chip and Dale, and I was like, yeah, there really aren't a lot of cartoon chipmunks. And there's, oh yeah, Alvin, Simon, Theodore, and the girls, Brittany and the other two. I think she's named Brittany. I can't remember.
I honestly don't know.
I was a big Alvin and Chipmunks fan when I was a kid, though. Yeah. I like them all.
I
mean, obviously they're from the 60s as well, but I like the 80s cartoon reboot. And then of course they had like a Valentine's special where Alvin was like hypnotizing himself with like subliminal messages in a song. He'd go out and be this romantic wooing Brittany.
Interesting.
It has some good songs in it, and I like the second reboot. I guess probably in the 90s, where the Chipmunks every episode they would do like a parody of a popular movie. They did like Batman and whatnot. It was really fun.
I just know the Chipmunk movies from when I was little, and they're alright.
They're fine.
By the time the Goals came around, I'm pretty sure I was just kind of like, eh.
The Chipettes. I mean, Jason Lee's in them, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
Speaking of Batman, I love the moment Batman versus E.T.
Yeah. although I gotta say that E.T. seemed more like the E.T. in the Angry Video Game Nerd movie than real E.T.
It was so bad. It was such bad animation.
It looked like it belonged in the bootleg series that the villain was making.
E.T. Forgive.
And then Batman was just like, okay, fine, whatever.
I loved it though. Really made that and like some of the other cameos we got. I was sitting there like, what in the world was the budget for this movie?
Those dogs.
Because I assume it has to cost to especially show, but even mention those characters.
Look, I honestly don't know how it works. I'm not
only
necessarily
know.
sure it's all a matter of money exchange. Sometimes it's just we'll
Yeah.
I can't even speak on that. It's nothing I've ever studied or researched.
All I know is that I will say that I did see that the director, throughout like talking about the movie, he always gives credit to the lawyers for being able to work out getting the rights and stuff to the other
I feel like
characters.
Eric Voss from New Rockstars is either happiest he's ever been seeing that movie or the most stressed out. Like, god damn, I got my next week booked.
Yeah, there's Darby on a Gucci ad.
That was funny.
There's one of those little like star things for multiple characters, like Chun-Li.
On the Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
Squidward was on it.
Yeah.
Chun-Li with the little... But Chun-Li had like a PlayStation remote in the middle of hers. Which, that seems inappropriate. Should have been a SNES controller.
Yeah.
I'm nitpicking, I know. And some of the fake movies like Batman vs. E.T., there's Fast and Furious Babies, President Dog, Meryl Streep as Mr. Doubtfire. And she weirdly enough, she looked like, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name, the guy who did the voice for Ultron.
I don't know.
Oh fuck, what's his name? James something.
Okay.
It kills me that I can't remember him. He's a really good actor.
It's loading.
He's in The Blacklist. He's in The Secretary. He's like the villain in a lot of 80s teen movies.
James Spader?
There you go.
And then there's the best cameo in the movie, Ugly Sonic.
Oh, god.
That was fantastic. What a way to use a broken IP.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the Sonic IP is not broken, but a broken character, a misstep.
Yeah.
And not only was he in the movie, he played a fairly
significant
major role.
Yeah, that was fun. It's to see all the characters that Dale was, palling around with at the cons.
Yeah.
Lumiere and Tigra and Baloo, they all made it.
I loved Lumiere.
Yeah. They all played a part in the climax.
Doesn't Lumiere pen the Beauty and the Beast remake? Would that be in the Beast?
What do you
remake?
mean?
Wouldn't that be in Beast live action movie?
Yes.
Wouldn't he be more CGI?
True.
But it's, I mean, different actors voiced the character, so you can get away with saying they're different Lumieres.
True. Like multiple Lumieres.
Yeah.
But speaking of Disney characters and whatnot, can we acknowledge Flounder?
Flounder freaking
Flounder was
died.
the first one. We don't know that he died. He just got bootlegged, which was dark as fuck.
It was.
This sort of
Like, as soon as that
forced surgical
shows up, it's
procedure
like-
where they modified him and then made him work in these bootleg productions.
And also
Yeah.
Peppa Pig got bootleg.
Oh my god, and
Yeah.
Phineas.
Oh gosh,
Run around on the head
I
of,
yeah.
didn't
like,
actually
this
see
weird
Peppa
bird
Pig,
from-
boy. What a
No, it
There was
is
just talk about Peppa Pig and then Paw Patrol going savage on the cops.
Attack the cops. Which is hilarious. Especially thinking of Chase being a cop, just turning, just attacking
Yeah, I
the
felt
cops.
bad that Johnny didn't pay more attention to the movie with those references and the Doc McStuffins cameo.
Oh,
at the-
yeah.
Oh yeah,
At the con. I mean, there's so many cameos and references in the movie. My Little Pony,
yeah.
of course, was in the
They only
trailer.
appeared for a brief second.
Oh, yeah,
but-
they ran through it.
Yeah, we didn't get as much My Little Pony as you
Those
would like.
cats.
Yeah,
The live action
live
cats.
action cats. And that was in the Uncanny Valley, right?
Yeah, they were fighting in the alley.
Yeah.
That's
There was, and at,
They
the,
packed everything they could, I think.
at the end, we were seeing the different body parts that had been removed from the tombs.
Oh
which is-
gosh, yeah.
So Sora's hair was there, and the Keyblade.
So his hair was also there?
Yeah. You see somebody's hair. It was brown,
I couldn't
spiky,
break down.
like anime style hair.
And
Don't go
so-
look for a breakdown of everything.
Damn it.
We're just no.
I just wanted a picture of that scene.
Yeah, that was a bunch of stuff.
If
from
we're gonna
that
do
scene.
that, we're gonna do that for real. This is just our recollection of the movie, having just seen it. But yeah, Sora's hair was there. If it was, I don't know who else's it would have been because it ain't Cloud's because his is
Oh
blonde.
no, I didn't see it.
And it wasn't quite Dragon Ball hair, so
I didn't see it.
we saw Phineas and Ferb's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then later bootleg Phineas.
Oh god.
Yeah, I
Poor
mentioned
her.
Phineas.
Freaking-
Well, we don't know there were.
What happened to
True.
In this reality, they're not. They're just actors playing those roles.
Yeah.
I would assume. I mean, that was never really stated full out.
So we technically don't even know if his name is Phineas. I mean, it probably is.
By Charlie.
Since everyone seemed to share the same name as the wall.
True.
Speaking of Phineas's mom, we saw her when they went to Main Street,
Mm-hmm.
which was like this tune hub.
Yeah.
Not just tunes though, because they met the Muppet
Yeah.
cheese guy who was dirty. That scene reminded me so much of Who Framed Roger Rabbit when they go into Toontown. And it's cool that because obviously if you've seen the trailer, you've seen there's a Roger Rabbit cameo.
Yeah.
And so I like that they sort of paid homage to him because that scene made me think of Roger Rabbit, and the movie as a whole makes me think of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's very much like a modern day Who Framed Roger
I've
Rabbit
heard
or
people
Roger
saying
Rabbit.
a
that.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit reboot.
Roger Rabbit was in the movie.
I literally just
You
said
just said
that.
that?
What
Yeah,
podcast
yes, you
were you
did.
on just a minute ago?
Sorry, I was thinking about something else for a second.
Yeah,
What were
I
you
said they were
thinking
dancing
of?
the Roger Rabbit with Roger Rabbit, and the
I
Roger Rabbit, of
apologize.
course, is a dance from the 80s, early 90s.
Nice. Another thing I
And Paul
didn't
Abdul,
see.
MC Scat Cat, they were oh my god, at that party too. That there was an allusion to a relationship between Gadget and Zipper. She's like tickling his chin. I'm like, I don't know that I want them to go there. And then they full out go there. Not only have a relationship, they got
Movie went
married and had like
everywhere.
24
40
kids.
kids.
I was gonna say, I feel like
And
this
I'm
movie
like,
went everywhere.
I do
it
not
could.
want this. And no, this is not jealousy speaking because I may have had a thing for Gadget when I was a kid. It was just weird and creepy. And the only thing that redeemed it was using Dennis Haysbert as the voice for Zipper. That sort of saved it for me. I'm like, all right, I can live with that.
Cool.
I was trying to tell Dylan who Dennis Haysbert was. He's of course in the Allstate commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I figured he would know him from the most. Obviously, he's a very accomplished actor, but he's also the voice of like the general in Wreck-It Ralph from the Call of Duty style video game.
Uh-huh.
Like, congratulations, soldier.
Didn't the enemy end up with part of Wreck-It Ralph?
He did. He had all these parts from different cartoons, and he had Wreck-It Ralph's arm.
Yeah.
And he's speaking a different voice, and he's like, "I'm gonna wreck it."
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
I think
bunch
there's
of
there's
stuff.
at least a scene or two of that amalgamation in the trailer.
Yeah, at least once.
That's what Peter Pan became, and just to elaborate, the
Yeah.
villain is like grown up Peter Pan,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who's now, besides running legitimate businesses and apparently an illegal cheese trade, he's also capturing and kidnapping and forcibly surgically altering tunes and making them perform in all these bootleg productions, which is kind of a fun reference too, because obviously these bootlegs do exist.
Yeah. It was interesting, the whole.
But it might have been fun to have
grown-up
like
Peter Pan.
like a Sonic in there somewhere. Maybe that would have been too much.
We already
other
got
scenes.
Maybe.
Sonic.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm saying. It would have been a nice little juxtaposition. But
Yeah.
I mean, what other?
So canonically, is Sonic like Ugly Sonic's cousin, or does it happen to look really similar or something? I don't know how this stuff works.
Again, that was never really.
I don't think they
explained.
worried too much about it.
I have so many questions.
Like,
Yes, please.
A lot.
that's not a question.
Too many.
Facts.
Nor is that.
Too
I
many
don't think too
questions.
many is for. There's a such thing as too many for a podcast.
Okay, what other cameos and references? He-Man and Skeletor.
Yeah, that's all.
At that point, because they're hiding under the table and you can see the purple boots and like the fuzzy barbarian.
Yeah.
That's He-Man and Skeletor.
And then it actually goes
we
up
actually
to show him
got them,
talking.
yeah. And I mean, there was some stuff too, like people, like some of the people at the cons were dressed up as different people. Like I saw Borat and a Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, there was also someone dressed up as Mario.
Did you see that or did you hear that?
I
Be honest.
saw that on the internet.
There you go.
Can we acknowledge the Coca-Cola bear?
I was gonna say, did you think that was the Coca-Cola
Yes.
polar bear? I wasn't sure.
And I just confirmed it.
'Cause I remember-
I was kind of iffy.
Because I remember like a CGI polar bear in a movie,
Uh-huh.
and I'm thinking, is that?
As far as I know, that was the Coca-Cola
I love
bear.
when he was fanboying out for Baloo.
Yeah, that was
pretty
cute.
sweet. No, wait though. Here's an interesting thing. Speaking of Baloo and something else we were talking about earlier, apparently that in the canon of this Chippendales Rescue Rangers world,
Yeah.
that Baloo is the same Baloo from the original hand-drawn Disney cartoon,
Yes.
and then I guess from Tailspin and whatnot, or I don't know what they're keeping canon or not, but then he did the Jungle Book reboot.
Yes.
Or remake, which was
So-
all CGI. So I guess he had the CGI. But I mean,
Yeah.
then we're talking about like Chippendale being in the video game, but
Yeah.
not being in it, and like you said, Lumiere in the live action remakes. That's a lot of inconsistency there. Again, not a complaint by any means, just something to talk about.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's not doing esoteric jazz at Comic Cons. Or I guess that wasn't necessarily Comic Con, but that's sort of the slang
The
for all the
vibe.
cons. Just a
Yeah.
con,
That was the vibe.
not Tony Con, not Nick Con.
And also, Ugly Sonic is in the canon getting a show with the FBI.
Yeah.
And his connection with the FBI saved the day in the end.
Yeah.
What was, speaking of the end and the amalgamation that Peter Pan became, he was blasting these balls. Do y'all know what that came from? Those
No.
cannonballs?
I don't.
At first I was hoping maybe he was shooting bullet bills, but
Yeah.
that didn't come to pass.
I heard one person say that might be like a bootleg bullet bill thing.
True.
I mean, it could be. There's so much animation-wise that...
And then Dale is saved by a pog.
Yeah. Oh,
Didn't Dale say something about being on Law and Order or something like that?
he said his bad New York accent got him
Yeah.
fired from
Yeah.
I didn't... Well, hold on. I thought you would really like the scene with the Pogs, too, because I was like, that's Pog, bro. I never collected Pogs. Did either one of y'all? I don't think so, because I never bought anything. from
Definitely
y'all.
not.
I guess I'm more of an 80s kid.
I don't
than a
just
90s
go out
kid.
and find pogs.
Although I like to say I'm an 80s and 90s kid.
Nice.
But, even though I was born in the 70s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they showed a scene from Rescue Rangers, like back when they were filming it, where they whack Dale on the head and birdies fly
Yeah.
around it, and then Fat Cat gets distracted and whatnot. And I don't know if they really did that in the cartoon or not. I haven't seen it enough recently to say, but they brought that back at the end where they're trying to get the birds to pop up, and then you cut to a scene where the bird's like in bed and his phone's going off like, I gotta go, it's my job. I thought that was really funny. Although
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell, who's calling him? Where's the
I
phone
don't
call
know.
come from?
It's just what happens.
But I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty funny.
That universe works very differently than ours.
Okay, well, I mean, where else? We were going over, what other cameos do y'all
So many
remember? That,
things.
I mean, of course, all the different Seth Rogen characters, like the
Yeah.
guy from Aliens and Monsters, and I don't
That's just
know,
so
what
much
other-
in the.
I mean, we saw it like in the bootleg surgery office. We saw like Muscly Garfield and
Oh god.
Yeah. And chipping down like a million different styles.
yeah. Well, because the machine would show them in different. I thought Alex would get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Different art
Yeah,
styles.
I did really like that.
Lexi would get a kick out of that. So I would never call you Alex on this program.
That's fact.
Because we named the show after you initially. Like, LexiCon is supposed to be conversations with Lexi. So
Yeah.
behind the scenes. That's our E! True Hollywood Story episode.
Yeah, seeing them in the different styles kind of made me think of like the one character different art style challenge thing that went around a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of neat.
And of course, the police chief / turncoat / second main villain was sort of a they called him a bootleg Gumby at one point. That he's sort of a claymation style, Gumby style character.
Yeah.
Just somebody made up from, fabulously voiced by J.K. Simmons. And that fight at the end between him and the The female detective.
Yeah.
That got intense.
Yeah.
And then it got frozen, like in
badass.
Terminator 2.
Yeah. Speaking of frozen, there was a frozen meal that Chip was eating when he came home from his insurance job.
I was gonna say, can we talk about how he's selling insurance, but also he has a dog, and his house is essentially just a dog house that's been remodeled to function as a house.
Well, they had little tiny houses like that at the beginning, though.
Well,
when they
yeah.
showed them, like, going home.
I was saying, with the dog in it, it felt like a dog house that he had remodeled into his house.
I liked his little food chute, and he'd just bring the garden hose in to
Yeah.
That's got to be tough living in that little house with that big dog.
True.
That'd be like, it's like Clifford.
That dog could just swallow him whole.
Yeah. Do you think they'd prefer pet dogs over cats simply because they're chipmunks?
Maybe.
I feel like that would be a bit dangerous to have a pet cat.
You know, I never saw a chipmunk in real life until we moved to North Carolina.
Oh.
I got bit by a squirrel once that I thought was a chipmunk, but I've since been told it was just a ground squirrel.
Interesting.
But if that was a chipmunk, then I saw a chipmunk then. But I didn't see it long enough because it bit me twice.
Yeah. Twice?
Twice.
Well, once when because
It
it got in the house, and I caught it, and it was freaked out, so it bit me.
Uh-huh.
And then I got it again, and I took it outside, and then I wanted to get a good look at it, so I held it a little too long, and it bit me again. I think that was after you were born. It was close to it. I knew your mother by then.
Nice.
She was at the house.
Nice. I've seen some chipmunks. I've also had a cat bring me chipmunks.
I had a cat bring me a bullfrog that was still alive, and like a big foot-long bullfrog that my mom and I had to get out of the house.
That must have been fun.
It's not the only thing she brought,
Cats are
but that's
great
the one
at
that I
bringing
remember the
gifts.
most. I've always heard it's because they're trying to take care of you.
Yeah. I've always heard that the best thing to do is, like, accept it, act thankful and whatnot, and then deal with it.
Well, I didn't have a chance to do that. We had to chase it because she put it down and it went.
It's like, I'm out of here. I'm not your dinner. Have a good
That's
night.
probably the biggest damn frog I've ever seen in real life.
I want to see a big
I'm used
frog.
to you know, like the little toads we would catch
Yeah.
as kids.
I like frogs. Frogs
I've
are
seen
cool.
a frog like twice in real life.
Remember the one we found?
I've seen a lot of tree frogs too, of course.
There were no frogs in the Chip and Dale movie.
I saw
Yes, there
one.
was. There's one
Was
working
there?
at the insurance agency.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's
How dare
right.
you say there were no frogs in it?
I'm sorry, I forgot about
But I
the
saw
insurance
one when
frog.
I was like freaking 3 or something.
See, I was trying to bring it all back.
And then I saw another frog.
I remember
like,
you used to be freaked
2
out
years
by
ago.
frogs. Remember that?
Who?
Him.
You were
He-
freaked out by frogs?
When he was
Yeah,
like
when I was,
really
like,
little.
No, I didn't remember.
Yeah, they'd like hop and he'd
the-
freak out.
The time I saw a frog when I was like 3.
Yeah,
I remember the time he was freaked out by a fish that your mother caught.
Yeah, that's on
And that
footage.
couple years ago, I accidentally poked a frog on a tree.
Yeah,
It jumped off
we
the
took
tree.
pictures.
Of him poking the frog?
No,
Frog assault.
but that was more than a couple years ago.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
How many years ago?
No, the one that's on your Amazon photos?
Yeah.
No, that's during the pandemic.
I don't think I was doing the pandemic.
Yes, it was.
2019 is the most recent it could have been.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because I came in and I showed the pictures to Grammy.
Okay, maybe.
So I know it had to be
Let's get on with this.
2019.
I know some of those other photos you have on there are from.
Yeah, some of them are
pandemic
more
times, and
recent.
I thought it was around the same
It's a
time, but
mixture.
Regardless, Chippendales Rescue Rangers.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a Mickey Mouse firework.
That was cute.
Yeah.
I do sort of like the way the series sort of played with not the series, the show sort of, the movie sort of played with expectations. Like, I mean, going in, we thought that maybe Gadget was going to be the one kidnapped because she wasn't in any of the trailers, but I know that was debunked beforehand because there was publicity saying they're the ones who solved the case of the missing Monty. But then also, like, I did get the vibe they were setting up the female detective to be the villain.
Yeah,
That same scene where Chip was calling it out because he was like, it never played in all. He's like, oh, my grandmother taped it for me. And Dale was like, what's your favorite episode? Oh, I can't just name. I'm sitting there thinking, oh, they're setting her up to be the villain. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was, and then I'm like, well, maybe they're, this movie is sort of playing with expectations and try to sort of subverting stuff. Maybe it's going to turn out to be something different. And then it looked like it was leading toward her, and then it did turn out to be J.K. Simmons' character, the Chief
Yes.
Putty. So I appreciated
fun.
that.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, the entire plot is about Monty getting kidnapped. Not sure if you mentioned that.
Yeah,
Probably
because
not.
he owes a debt to
He
the
gets
Yeah,
turned
because of
into
his
gang
mass
because he's
stinky
gone back
cheese
on the
addiction.
cheese.
he gets turned into Dumbo.
Yeah, or
He
like
gains Dumbo.
Something like
short bow. I don't know. But
Actually, isn't it Stupid Bow? Or
Something like that,
Was the
Stupid Bow,
bootleg?
yeah.
I thought it was like Stupid Boy Elephant or something. Speaking of the bootleg movies they were making too, that's where we see Pete the Cat's cameo, and he doesn't look like he's been changed at all. So I like the idea. I like the fact that they brought him in because I think a lot of people were probably thinking the same thing, that Sweet Pete, it's going to be that Pete.
Yeah.
But also he seemed like he wasn't being forced to do it. He just like he was doing it. He wanted. He needed the money. I'm going to do it. I'm fine with that as long as you pay me.
Yeah.
This is my chance to shine.
That's a pretty good Pete impression.
Thank you. I just wanted to bring that up so I could use that.
I've never heard you use a Pete impression.
I needed a chance, bro.
Okay, that reminds me
Did I not do it in Kingdom Hearts when you play that on GABA?
I don't think so.
That reminds me of
guess he was
Selena
voice
Is
acting.
Gomez.
Pete never on Kingdom Hearts?
Maybe.
Appearance on
I
Saturday
think he
night.
was appearing in
live
Kingdom Hearts too.
a few weeks
Or
ago.
Chain of
A
Memories.
couple weeks ago.
I'm sorry, what did that have to do with Chippendales Rescue Rangers?
I said that you doing the impression of what you said about, I just brought it up so I could do that, reminded me of her appearance because she did a Miley Cyrus impression, and at some point in time she said that she was doing it just so that she could do that on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're comparing me to Selena Gomez.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure I'd take that.
Yeah, and I like the fat mouse and the little stinky cheese place.
Yeah, he's in the trailer, though.
Yeah, I
They
know.
could have put Ratatouille
Come on,
there.
please.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely opportunities for even more references.
Didn't you think there was a
Cameos.
Cars car at some
Okay.
point?
Yeah. At least a sentient car.
There were multiple sentient cars.
Yeah.
You're talking about later on in the street, there was like a blue car. It looked sort of like Doc, but I don't think it was supposed to be.
Well,
It didn't sound like them, and none of them looked or sounded like the cab from Who Framed Roger Rabbit either, so...
yeah. Well, a couple things. First off, his name isn't Ratatouille, it's Remy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Everybody knew who I was referring to, though.
Also known as Little Chef. Second off, I do not want Remy Ratatouille in my cheese drug area.
The cheese drugged in.
The cheese drug den.
Remy knows better.
Yeah.
He's too busy with his musical.
Oh my god, speaking of music, two things. One, they had that snake DJ character.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, that reminds me of Flula Borg, but it doesn't really sound like Flula Borg. And then I saw the credits, like, fuck, it was Flula Borg. So I thought that was cool. But also, the scene where they did the rap, they did a terrible rap, which is cute enough, but I thought it would have been funny if Dale did the terrible rap, because he's like the showy one and the one who wants to be out there, and now Chip's just the insurance salesman, and he's like the little, more of the straight man. I thought it would have been funny if he came out and just busted this fantastic rap.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
They don't eat whale.
Yeah. So I've heard. But it was a cute scene with the way they came together at the end.
Yeah. It's all Peter Pan's Fitbit thing.
Yeah.
It's where they even put that, because I didn't see them holding it or anything. Yeah, it's like, that'd be fairly big compared to them.
Yeah. Feel like a championship belt.
Yeah, I didn't see the one holding it or wearing it or anything. Right after they took it.
I don't know.
Because I can't say anything about there having been Pixar cars in the movie, but I can say that Disney once made and sold pins of Chip and Dale in the style of Pixar cars.
Neat.
Fascinating.
Disney pins are cool.
Alright, so Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
Very
Yes.
The 90s cartoon.
good. Haven't seen it.
Even better, the NES video game.
It's pretty
Haven't
good.
played it.
What? You haven't played Chip and Dale at all?
I don't think
In the
so.
movie,
Coming to Alex out to Sim 3R soon, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Didn't Dale have like an arcade machine with like a Chip and Dale game on it?
I don't know, but he had copies of the NES game in
Yeah,
his,
but I
in his
also
shrine.
an arcade machine. Maybe even with the NES game on it.
I used to
It was
love.
a
I used
Chip
to
and Dale
love the NES game. I still
Yeah.
do. It's still fun, but
It's
at the
pretty good.
time I really loved it. I
What
loved
about
playing.
the second one?
I love playing. I don't know if I've ever really played the second one, other than whatever we played on the Disney Afternoon collection.
Yeah. I mainly played like the little boss rush section, trying to get good times.
Yeah, I always loved like playing through. You're playing through like a realistic world, but as the chipmunks, everything's like
Yeah.
big compared to them. I always thought that was really cool aesthetic and good music too.
Yeah.
There's always. I think it's either Mario. I think Super Mario Bros. 3. Maybe Mega Man. There's one in the video game series we play a lot that has a song that always makes me think of Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. It's Mega Man. It always sounds like the Rescue Rangers theme to me. It might be it might be the original.
Ranger. Nah, nah.
What are you singing? That ain't Rescue Rangers.
But don't like nah 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 nah.
Yeah.
Nah, nah, nah,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't remind me that. I guess it
Yeah.
doesn't sound that much like the real theme, but I would sing Rescue Rangers to it. Yeah, it's like a Legman's
Ranger.
music, I think.
Yeah, I think.
So anyway, getting back to Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the movie.
By the way, on the Afternoon Collection, the Tailspin game sucks.
I'm sorry, but don't tell Baloo that.
The dog can
guess that's when
Duck
why he
game
started
is
doing
pretty
jazz. Tailspin was a pretty good cartoon.
Darkwing Duck is pretty good.
Yeah, I never watched Darkwing Duck.
Me neither.
Me neither.
And I didn't watch.
Apparently he's getting a
I don't know how
reboot
much.
soon.
I didn't really watch it as part of the Disney Afternoon collection. I watched it
This is just all an elaborate ad for it.
just in syndication.
Yeah, it's going to be like a spin-off of the DuckTales reboot or something.
Interesting.
Which we didn't watch that much of.
I've
we
never
started
seen
to.
DuckTales.
We should watch more. It's
I like
pretty good.
the original because I like Gizmo Duck, even though I know he's not from the comics, but I saw the cartoon.
Okay, but it might be in the reboot.
Might
we don't
be.
know. And also Huey, Dewey, and Louie are more interesting in the reboot.
Stop talking into your towel.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie are more interesting in the reboot.
Yeah, I heard you. Just stop. I didn't say repeat yourself. I just said stop talking into your towel. You want to be gagged for the podcast from now on? You say that when you
Alright,
can
back
for
to
your
Chip and Dale.
OnlyFans.
Oh God.
Yeah, well, what about Chip and Dale? Do you reckon either of
I
them
don't know.
started an OnlyFans after the show ended?
Oh, gosh.
No. Chip definitely not. Dale may have considered it.
How did we like Dale's driving an actual human-sized car?
When it first showed up, I was sitting there like, why do they have a full-size car? Are there not tiny cars for chipmunks based on like the houses?
Chip
and then
said
of
there
course
were.
Chip says it like right afterwards.
It was more of a status symbol for Dale.
Yeah.
And not anymore
Do you
because it's
know-
like old and beaten up.
If I made chipmunks, you could fit into that car.
Too many. Way too many.
It'd be like a clown car.
You just open the door and just non-stop
You didn't have to open the door. It
chipmunks.
was a convertible. They'll just pile
True.
it over the door.
True.
You can fit
Just
a lot of
non-stop.
chipmunks
It's just
in
a waterfall of chipmunks over the door.
A waterfall of chipmunks. I expect to see that art piece soon.
Oh
It's like
no.
Niagara Falls,
I
but all
don't think I've ever drawn a
chipmunks.
chipmunk.
Chipmunk Falls.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So what did we miss in our little review?
I feel like
here?
we're missing
Everything.
A lot.
I mean, like I said, you gotta watch it to really do all the cameos and references justice. I'm sure there's some that we didn't even pick up on.
I just want to say that I think it was really good. You know, a lot of movies have gotten a reboot, something like that in this style. But I like the fact that they kind of meta and made fun with it and whatnot. But then also like set up this whole thing and had the characters doing their thing, but also like just everything. And the animation was nice.
I mean, it was meta, but it wasn't really. They weren't really making fun of it. It wasn't like a parody
Yeah.
movie like the Brady Bunch movies
Yeah.
or something like that. I mean,
That's just what I'm trying to say. Like they did everything pretty good. I liked it.
Now, as I want a Rescue Rangers reboot series.
Apparently Dale does too.
okay, but can we get one that's like behind the scenes, like just a continuation
Yes.
of this movie?
Yeah.
We
I'd
get,
like
we
that.
get we get like 5 minutes of the actual cartoon, but how's that gonna work though with Dale being CGI now?
It'll have to be a mix, I guess.
I don't know.
Nor do I.
Me neither.
I mean, if they keep the kind of animation style of the movie, it'd be good. But, like with Chip and Dale, how they looked
So that
together.
was seeing like
They look
hand
pretty
drawn
good together.
and CGI
And
and
Muppets.
live action, like it was all going.
I like the sock
I love how
puppet.
well
I
everything
love the
looked
sock
together, even
puppet.
though it was
I don't know
a
if it was a
mix.
representing specific sock puppet, but I'm there for it. I love sock puppets.
You only paid one.
Yeah.
How did that even work?
There was a Muppet too.
How did those work?
Does anybody know?
I'm just so confused
Wait.
about the whole of this universe.
Okay, yeah, I. Okay, hold up. We know Nick Jr. is a thing in this universe. That means Ubi is a thing.
We know that who's the thing in this universe?
Ubi.
Yeah, I heard that. What'd you say before?
Nick Jr.
Oh, yeah.
So what's
that
up
been
with that?
Lucy's
Like he's
Zero in
a
this universe?
hand.
Well, we don't know that for sure because, like I say, the whole Disney short canon of Chip and Dale apparently doesn't exist.
Yo, does that mean Moose and Zeo in this universe?
Oh
This
my-
is like since you know you have different comic universe, you have like Earth 616 and whatnot in different
I want
Marvel
Moose and Z in the sequel.
The MCU.
Do you know
is a
how
different universe.
perfect of a
This is just
cameo that would have been?
universe.
Just a little Moose and Z
I want Moose and Z
somewhere.
in the sequel.
I'd rate this movie a 10 out of 10 if they were in it.
Alright. Well, should we get to our ratings now that you say that?
Sure.
All
I
right.
think they
Well,
would have led the attack on the cops. I feel like Z definitely would have. Z gives me this vibe.
Moose would probably be fast.
that gives World War Z a whole new meaning.
Oh god.
All right. So what'd you rate it, Dylan?
8.75.
I was gonna say about an 8.5-ish.
I give it a Who Framed Roger Rabbit out of 10. Alright, so thanks for joining us here for this review of Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. We highly recommend it. And it was nice to actually get to review a movie in a decent amount of time. You know, we've been having to do them so far behind. We didn't even bother reviewing Spider-Man because it took so long to get to see it, and like we haven't gotten to see Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness yet. But I don't want to end on a down note because Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Hi.
I was gonna say real quick because you mentioned Doctor Strange and whatnot. I just wanted to say, literally right before recording this, I saw that they announced that the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer is dropping on Monday.
Okay.
That's it.
This podcast drops on Sunday, so we wouldn't have time to review it for the podcast.
No, but the day after the trailer's coming.
All right, well, something to look forward to. Another movie we're not going to get to see when it comes.
Yay! I love not seeing movies. It's my favorite.
But again,
thing.
let's not end on a down note because Chippendale Rescue Rangers was definitely a fun time.
Yes,
Go check it out if you haven't already, and make sure you come back next week when the conversation will continue. But until then, I will continue to be Maddie,
Lexi.
Dylan.
and this is LexiCon concluded.
Bye.